Alright guys, we're here back with more Final Fantasy VII.
Your advocate, like, what are you doing? Like, how are you thinking? You're prescribing these things to them that they have literally never done in a single season. And collectively, they've played 5 seasons
this key
together.
card will grant you access to the 64th floor. You can use the elevator to get there. Once you're up there, just what is it you plan on doing?
We came to get one of our friends. People who played super shady games their first time, even Enzo, like Danny to some degree, like people who were sketchy when they
Access to
played
R&D is limited to authorized personnel only.
Janelle and
We'll find a way
Kaiser,
in.
who are like
Know where we can find Hojo?
most
The
shining
board meeting is
example
scheduled to start soon.
An alliance that's
It's being
just
held
an
in the main
alliance, and
conference
every
room.
season they're
President
in
Shinra,
turns into
Professor
like
Hojo,
a
and the
team
other
versus
directors will
team
be in
thing
attendance.
because they're just on a
They
team.
like surprises.
Like
We
the
can
idea
even take the
that
president
they
as a
are
hostage.
behind
Think of the
all of
leverage.
these rumors and
Try it,
like
and security will be
shady
on your
business,
asses in seconds.
and
We need to
innocent
find out what
Cody
they're
and
planning.
Frenzel and
So you want to
Tyler
spy on their
and,
meeting?
you know, all these
They're all
people.
buying it.
I have an
I
idea.
can't wait. Actually,
Head to the
that's
men's
not even true. That's
restroom.
not fair because like I'm
You can
just
climb
gonna
into
say,
the
I
air
can't
ducts
wait
there.
for people like
They go
Dave
all the way
on
to the
to
conference
get out of the
room.
house and see what the
Thanks for
truth
the
is. I
tip.
can't wait for Nicole Anthony to get out of the house and see what the truth is.
Yeah,
But
okay.
the God's honest truth is I'm rooting for all these people and they're just screwing up their chance. They're
You're
letting
gonna train
all
in a
these
sin at a
people
time like
who,
this?
like literally none of us can stand for the most part.
You're gonna
walk
train
to the
in a
end
sin
at
at
this
a
point.
time like
That's what's
this?
happening.
Yeah.
Where do we go?
So,
You're gonna train in a
Janelle,
sin at a time like this?
No, I'm not.
sorry, Melissa, you haven't given your rating yet.
I guess I'll give her
Cloud? Huh? You're Cloud, right? Holy shit! It's cool, bro. We went through training together. Damn. So you're still alive and kicking, huh? Some of the guys heard you got smoked, but I told them it was all bullshit. Hey, sit tight, man. I'm gonna go get Kunsel. I'll be right back. Old buddy.
You okay?
Yeah,
But you were just...
I'm good. Let's keep moving.
Yeah, so, Janelle, I would give it 3?
4.
Possibly a 2.
4 from Melissa.
Because I don't think she's playing poorly.
I think
she's
Janelle
not
is
given
playing
a chance.
poorly.
And I think that, like, I do see a way for her moving forward. Like, if she can convince Faye and Day to, like, stick with them, like, I see a situation where they don't do terribly. There are some situations where people decide not to target them this upcoming week. I mean, like, I can see a situation where people are like, look, let's keep some other larger targets in the house. Like, let's not just, like, get them out right away. Then who's the big target? Me. Like, I think that there's a situation where even if they do not win HOH this week,
I think other thing is reality.
being okay.
I really don't think so.
So far,
Yeah, and I think she's the most likely to go next week by a mile. And I also would push back that she's not playing poorly. I do
Yeah, I
think
think she's playing really poorly.
There's a few areas, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she drew not the greatest hand the first week for sure, but she wasn't Cody's target. It was Kaser, and that was bad for her. That put her in a weird spot, but she played very badly from that spot, from that point. And, you know, I mean, for as much as we give crap to Nicole Anthony and Kevin for, like, completely reading this situation wrong,
That's
Like,
right.
she's given them the
is
ammunition
also
to
reading
perceive
Nicole
this
Anthony
wrong.
wrong. And Nicole Anthony is not trying hard to pretend she's with Janelle, but Janelle is giving everything to Nicole. Nicole is giving nothing back. Janelle asked Nicole, like, who told you you don't have the votes? And Nicole was like, I don't want to say. I was like, what do you mean you don't want to say? What? Like, why not? I'm telling you everything. Like, why not say? She's like, it doesn't matter anymore. I just want to tell you. And she's like, she's not seeing it. And like the body language is like you can tell in a conversation between Janelle and Nicole is like huddled up. Like she's like she hates it. And Janelle just doesn't see it.
Need to find a way to infiltrate that room.
And that's some really
hear
bad
the words
reads
coming out
right
of your
there.
mouth.
The thing with
We just gotta find that bathroom so we can get into the air duct. Ask anyone here. They can point us in the
And
right
everything
direction.
she says is leaking around the house via Nicole,
find it on
via
our own.
Christmas, via all these people that are just playing her, and she doesn't even realize that all of her stuff is all over the place every time she says something. Like she's got like 5 leaks,
Yes,
and
what is
she's playing not even great with the leaks. She needs to plug the leaks and then start playing a little better, and then maybe she's got a shot. Having some power would definitely help, but I gotta say, even if Janelle wins HOH next week.
Yeah, she's gone
I
the
don't
week
know
after.
if I have enough faith in her that I don't think she'd just go right out the door the next week. Right now, based on how she's been playing so far.
Melissa, you know that that thing on Twitter where people go, you know, like, Melissa breathed, and then the house like went crazy. Like, and that's literally what it's like with Janelle. Like, Janelle breathes, and like immediately it's all over the freaking house that she breathed.
It's just crazy. It's crazy to me. Like, they're so obsessed with her. It's like that other one. Like, why are you so obsessed with me? Like, they're literally obsessed with her.
Sir?
Yeah.
Why was she
Sure you
Yes,
should be here
so
right
the
now?
audience gave
There is a
Janelle
meeting going on.
a 5. They felt even better than Melissa about Janelle.
Ridiculous.
God bless you all.
So that means Janelle is going to land
Tifa,
there at
it'd be
a
better if you
4,
waited
I
inside.
believe.
Maybe,
And
but
so
this is...
let's move on
Oh,
to Kaser,
Never
and
mind.
everything I just
You're
said
right.
about Janelle, I
Yeah.
think applies to
Same thing with
Kaser
Kaser.
for the most part.
I think
I think he
he's
has a couple
safer.
more outs than she does. I think he's less
Slightly.
likely to go home
Yeah.
next
Oh,
week. And
thank God.
if Janelle
No
goes
one's in
home,
here.
I think
Like Kaser's in a
Kaser.
much better spot.
down below
I think
look like.
Kaser's got some space
Come on.
to do
Let's just
something,
find that out.
but not a lot of space.
Yeah, I still think he's down.
And
I would
also don't
give him
think it's a
3.
given that Janelle goes home over Kaser. Just
Yep.
today, Memphis and Cody were talking about how everyone's going to want Kaser gone and Janelle gone next week, but they both are planning on pushing hard
Gotcha.
to make sure it's Kaser because they would like for Kaser to leave and not Janelle. And so I also gave Kaser a 3.
Yeah.
I feel like it's not great.
I mean, I gave him a 2 last week, and I did increase it to a 3, mainly because I'm pretty
He'll
convinced.
survive another week.
Yeah, and I'm pretty
on guard
convinced
duty.
that Janie
So,
would go home over
can I go with
Kaser.
you?
Like, I just feel like
don't
there's
want to
so
be
much
here any
angst in
longer
the
than I
house
have to.
Via
Yeah,
Janelle,
sure.
that no matter
Just
how
follow
hard
behind.
Cody and Tyler or Cody and Memphis push that they want to be Kaser, I really don't see it being that way.
I think it'll be Tyler, and via Tyler, you know, David, and Franzel and Ian, and you know, then you start to look at like what do Bailey and Davon do? They probably side with Janelle. So maybe David does side with Janelle. I don't know. I guess it's a little bit up there, but you have Danny going after Janelle. So it could be a close vote if Cody and Memphis, you know, get their hooks into things. But Christmas goes with Tyler. If I didn't say that already, so I do think Janelle is more likely to leave though.
Yeah, I'm gonna give Kaser a 4 as well, unfortunately. And let me just say, like, I love Kaser so much. Like, watching him is so amazing. And when he gives those like inspiring speeches,
I'm sure they're
like,
safe.
to his
But we
potential
live right by
allies,
Sector 7,
Ryan
and I
Freeman,
keep calling and calling,
like,
but I still
am
can't
here
get
to play,
through.
like, I'm
I
here
heard
to
that
go
all the
for it,
phone
I'm gonna,
lines
like,
are
swing
dead.
for the fences.
Doesn't
I'm gonna
mean
get
anything.
people. Like, I
You
get
sure?
so inspired, and I just love
Pretty
it so
sure.
much, and it makes me so pumped up. And then just to see all these people just like immediately leave and like just spill the beans on this whole thing, it just like it rips my heart out. It makes me so sad and depressed.
Because they're not
I
playing well.
I want this Janelle, Kaser,
Depending on the board's
Davon, and
decision,
Bailey
we may
thing
start
to
2
be a
projects
real thing,
simultaneously,
because can you
rebuilding the
imagine that
plate
as a Final
and the
Four?
city.
Like, I just, like,
Members of the
it would
Urban
be so
Planning
amazing,
Division
and I
will
would love so
likely
much,
take
so
point on both.
I
Director
feel
Twesty
sad to
has
give
ordered
Kaser a
teams to
4
come up with
because
3,
I don't
5,
think,
and
I think
10-year
that a lot of this,
plans.
and same with
Each
Janelle,
team
is like
needs to come up with a
they're
detailed
not even
proposal
giving it a
and schedule.
chance. They're
We're
not
going to
even
have to
being
put a
given
lot of
chance
man
to
hours into
play
this, so we'll
well,
need to
or
start
play to their true
ASAP.
potential.
Does anyone have any
and
questions
they're just
at
kind
all?
of like being shut out of everything. which
If
is
not,
unfortunate.
then we'll wait for the director to return.
I mean, I will again push back a little bit that like
I
this
think
is the
they're-
game that Janelle and Kaser play every time. Like they have had 3 shots now, and every time it plays out this way, I think we can't blame the circumstances. I think that this is kind of just the game they play.
But I think that's the reason. I think that the reason is because watching them on their first season, they're not given the option to play it any other way. I think that people see
Because
them
they're
number one
bad
as a player. Like, what
players.
are they going to do? Be like, oh
Because
no,
they're
we're not
always
working together.
pigeonholed
like,
into
no,
a
like,
situation
don't
where
do
they're
that.
forced
and
to
then,
play this
you know,
way.
they're never given the chance to like work with people or become something else. They're always just like pushed into a corner and forced to like fight their way out of it and like play scrappy and play hard like right from the get-go. They're never given the opportunity to just sit and wait. I mean, do you think there's any situation where they come in this season and they just like kind of sip sit back and chill and no one notices them. Like, I mean, come on, it's Janelle and Kaser.
I mean, look, I was trying to give Kaser some leeway at the start of the season to say, look, he went out in his first season because of circumstances. He came back into the second season with the reputation. He was the rock star. He never really had a chance to play his own game there. But, like, this is the third time, and I feel like at some point you have to say there's one common denominator here, and there were other players who were obvious pairs. There are other players in this house with huge targets on their back, and they did manage to incorporate themselves into the house, and that has not happened with Janelle and Kaser, and I can't say that it's completely not in their hands.
Okay, I must be, like, not remembering this, but maybe I'm just totally blanking on it, but, like, who else has come into the house as such an obvious pair who's played before together as a pair?
I mean,
this season?
Well, I will tell you that Davon came into the house telling people that Bailey was her number one.
Yeah, but I mean, like, from a previous season. Like, I just feel like Janelle and Kaser, like, they've played together as a pair their first season and their second season. And so coming into this season, doing anything else but play as a pair, like, they're going to be seen together. They're going to be seen as a pair. They're not going to be able to, like, pass it off as, like, yeah, we haven't talked in a long time, so I'm not really going to play with Janelle or whatever. Like, there's no way that's going to be bought by anybody. Like, I just feel like they're pushed into this position. They're seen as a pair. They're seen as a strong pair, a strong duo, a tight duo. And then I think that that influences the way they have to play.
The chat is screaming at me right now. Chilltown was definitely a big pair that came into a game.
No. I meant no. Sorry, I meant this season.
Sure.
I'm literally talking about this season. Obviously, Chilltown came in the first season. Duh. I'm saying this season right now. Do we have any other pairs in the house that is a duo from a previous season playing together? No.
Okay.
Like, if Tyler and Casey...
You are correct. No. In your very specific example, you are completely correct.
No, I'm just saying, like, for this season, like, if Tyler and Casey were there together or whatever, like, obviously, like, they're going to be seen as a pair, and people are going to be like, we got to get them out. And if they were able to come in and be like,
so where the fuck am I going?
Part of the group, and no one, like, picked them out, then I'd be able to compare them and say, like, okay, clearly Janelle and Kaser are playing it wrong, and Tyler and Casey are playing it right. But, like, we don't have any way to compare it.
But what we saw in week one, in the first night of feeds, is that Cody did not plan on nominating Kaser and Janelle together. They weren't linked up that much. He was planning on nominating Keisha and Kaser, and it wasn't until Kaser saved Janelle that everybody started saying, okay, clearly they are working together just as much as they used to be. They had planned on trying to separate a little because they haven't talked to each other in 15 years. A lot of people assumed that Franzel and Cody would work together. They still do. And, like, that's a big target. Like, I hear what you're saying, and I agree. I think they drew a bad hand, but I don't think that we can just completely say, like, oh, it's not their fault at all. They never had a chance. I don't think that's true.
I mean,
break a tie.
I mean, I gave my scores. I think they both played badly, and like some things cut against them. But I do think that there are some things that they could both do better than what they are doing right now. JD does not pick up well on other people's body language. Yeah. She seems oblivious to that. Kaser also, even though I said I was using him as the example in my comparison against David, like I said, even Kaser, who can be intense at times, you know, has the ability to empathize and connect with people, but sometimes he falls flat even in that area. Like, he's not somebody who people just normally gravitate to for some reason, even though I would.
Yeah,
the people in the Big Brother house over his 3 seasons don't really care for him. So, like, Cody is really not into it. He just really feels like he got a bad feel from the guy, but he's right to feel that way because Kaser wants to get rid of Cody and put him up on the block.
Yes, and like somehow this is turned into like the chat saying that I'm delusional for not thinking that Kaser and Janelle are an obvious pair. That's not what I said.
Jared, you don't think they're a pair?
They're obviously a pair, and they were the most obvious pair. That is not up for debate. I just don't think that automatically means that their game wasn't in their hands and that they never had a chance. I just don't think that's true, and I think they could have played better. That's all I'm saying.
I also think part of it has to do with the fact that, like, Janelle is Janelle, and they didn't bring in a Derek, they didn't bring in a Dan, they didn't bring in a star of that season? No, like, not at all. So I think that that's part of it. It's like, you have a legend there, and so everyone else is like gonna be trying. We only
try this
brought
again.
like,
I think I know what I was doing wrong. I was trying to push forward and like forward left and forward right, but it turns out you just need to point it.
I agree, but like we did just see Survivor Winners at War. Tony came in as a legend with an obvious pair in Sarah, who just dominated a returning season, and Tony won. You know, like it's not like it's an impossible situation, and I do think that, you know, we can still look at the game and say that there are things that people could have done better, and still also acknowledge that they had a bad hand coming in. I do think that's true.
They definitely had a bad hand coming in. Also, the fact that Janelle continues to hold to this, I'm not going to nominate Danny because we had some outside agreement, when she has to be able to tell that Danny is not being truthful to her. Danny is not on her side. Like that, how, like, you know that Danny was lying to you when she came to you and offered that fake alliance just to cover her own ass. Like, you saw through it immediately. Why do you feel any loyalty to Danny?
All right, well, the audience gave Kaser a 5.
This it?
So the audience likes what Kaser is doing.
Apparently, there was somebody in the chat that was like, if the audience gives Kaser a 5, I'm still gonna laugh. I'm like,
with my own eyes, sauntering down the corridor.
We don't have time for this nonsense.
He was as close to me as you are now. The shock of it made me spill my tea.
Enough already. If there are intruders in the building, my men will deal with them.
But, Mr. President, sir, I swear to you...
Reeve.
Sir, I have the damage assessment for Sector 7, and I'm afraid the figures are catastrophic.
Spare us the doom and gloom. Was there anything else?
Well, sir, I've also drafted a reconstruction plan for... Huh?
Not with the Ancient in our custody once more.
With respect, sir, I don't see how...
2 words, Reeve. Neo Midgar.
In their promised land, we will build a new Mako-powered metropolis.
Mr. President, we still don't know for sure that the Promised Land even...
Professor Hojo.
The test results were within expectations. The specimen is somewhat lacking compared to her pure-blood mother, but for our purposes, she should more than suffice.
So she can lead us to the Promised Land?
Well, Mr. President, that remains to be seen. I would like your permission to secure her cooperation through more forceful means. Forceful, yet gentle. She is a precious resource that must be handled with care.
Personally, I've never had a problem with torture.
My armory is at your disposal should you require anything.
I had something more psychological in mind. Better to scar the psyche than mar the flesh.
Proceed as you see fit. However, you will not make the same mistake twice. Is that clear?
If I may, Mr. President, I have an idea how we might mitigate the risks. Simply put, we could have the Ancient reproduce. In the absence of a second specimen, we would need to identify an alternative mate. I would start with candidates from Soldier. These would, of course, include S and G types. Quite frankly, there's no telling what kind of properties a crossbred specimen might possess. So, what say you all?
If there is nothing else...
Mr. President!
Meeting adjourned.
Please, sir!
Who plays Reeve? I feel like I know that voice too.
Something stinks.
Anything?
The man in the lab coat. Head of R&D. We follow him.
Okay. And then we kill the son of a bitch.
Not until he's led us to Aerith. That's the plan.
Okay. Oh my god, that's who it is.
So,
I was thinking like Hojo. Who the fuck is that? It's the guy that fucking voiced Jackie Chan in Jackie Chan Adventures. That's so fucking random. And it's also Eddie Raja from Uncharted. But yeah, shit.
Let's talk about
who was it?
Who's up next here? Kevin.
Yeah.
Kevin, I give it 3.
Talk about Kevin.
Yikes.
Not much.
I mean, look, I'll start. Like, I gave him a 4 last week. I gave him a 5 this week. It's not
really?
To me, it's like a 4.7, but like, it's closer to 5, so I'm gonna give him the 5. Like, it's not a big increase to me, but he's not on the block, number 1. I don't see anyone coming for him, as Tara noted earlier.
I think he's positioned well, just I don't see how he wins the game.
So, given that, I feel like I have to increase his score a little bit. Like, he's playing better. I know he's irritating the living F out of me by continually trash talking Janelle, but at least he has reason to trash talk Janelle when Janelle called him a flat out liar and a schemer in his original season and tried to end his dream from the moment he stepped in the house. Like, from Kevin's point of view, like, Janelle was the bad guy who was trying to get rid of poor little Kevin. Like, look at Janelle, what a legend, who's been asked back 4 times.
Answers. A simple psychoactive agent should suffice. Nothing likely to cause any long-term damage.
Let's go.
Right.
She's been on the show 4 times. Somebody like Kevin Campbell barely made it onto the season, and she was trying to get rid of him the first week. How dare she? Like, that's how he's looking at it. So.
Did he be on the Cabela season? He was like one of the first people called, supposedly.
Kevin gets a 5 for me.
I was feeling a little bit worse on Kevin. I mean, he's not on the block. Last week I gave him a 4 and he was on the block. This week he's not on the block, and I do think that Kevin will be here for a while. I think unless he gets unlucky, which is very possible, the civil war within the bigger group, whether it's a civil war or it's a culling, will happen eventually.
Don't move. I ain't bluffing.
What is this?
A dozen bullets in your head, unless you open that door.
Brad, did anything Caliber stream today? I think he did, right? Yeah, he did. I doubt he did anything that memorable, though. I'm pretty sure he was practicing.
You must be the ones who've been stirring up trouble.
Grounded speedrun.
Eco-terrorists?
I just want to see what he got.
If so, I can't imagine what business you have with me.
Record. Oh my god.
The
Plus
president understands. Go on, shoot.
Plus 6 on it. That's goddamn. What fucking happened on that run? Oh, it was like it lost a lot of time in tunnel. Winter as a whole was just terrible.
None of y'all better move a muscle.
Do stop pushing. Unlike you, I am less accustomed to physical violence.
You'll get used to it.
What is it that you want?
Our friend. She's in your lab.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not gonna bother.
Tell us where Aerith is.
Oh, so she's your friend. Well. In that case, yes, that might do the trick.
Mind speaking up, son?
It's so weird. This is fucking Jackie
It's nothing. Just imagining how she might react if I were to present to her your fresh corpses.
I'd like to do a video on Jackie Chan Adventures. It won't happen anytime soon.
I promise.
Who does Kevin have, and what kind of?
I think the problem with Kevin is that I think he could be like expendable.
And there aren't many other people in the game that are in that spot. They're just kind of like floating out there. And so I think he'll be around for a while. I think he'll have a chance to improve his standing, but I
Don't overdo it.
Oh, fuck off.
And like, I don't believe it's a situation where he just decides to like be a member by the Large Alliance and then just get like discarded as they go. And even if he doesn't get discarded, like even if practice makes it to like he's not gonna win. Like there's no possible way unless like the other person sitting up there on the block or up there like the final two positions like I don't know, like piss everybody off and just insult everyone the whole time. Like that's literally the only way because he's not doing anything. He's not playing. Nobody's respecting the game. Nobody thinks he's not as like an important player. Like I'm very disappointed in him because I really do. I do like him as a person and I do like him as I'm really very excited to see him come in and play and I really thought he was gonna like go for it and go for it hard, but he's not recognizing his bad position. Like he's not recognizing that like, okay, now that I'm on the outside, mostly on the outside and nobody seems to work for me, like I need to find a way to be outside. Like why go with I get
Well, because they're not wanting to work with him.
I get that, it makes sense.
It's
like,
just the poor fucking player.
what else are you gonna do?
Basically.
Like go and work with these people who don't have anyone else. Like tell them like, look, everything else aside, I don't have anyone. You guys are in a tough position. So like let's turn this around for us. Like otherwise you're just gonna be picked off. It's just bad.
I feel like he's terribly correct in that this doesn't play this way on Big 11 either. Like he just looked at it a little bit and didn't make any definite one way or the other. The game was very open. Yeah, it was very open. Yeah, I think he's somehow convinced that like he can really respond to the Tyler, like he can be there when like the Civil War breaks out and whatever is together. Randy and he managed at the end. Obviously, they games and what was happening with Big 11 and obviously the and I think that's pretty however all out. Maybe that's so long. Like I do think that Kevin could see the plot, but I don't think he's the big guy. See him for a while. He might be used as
You're mine.
But I mean, for Kevin's case, all the time. Was get rid of Kevin Campbell. They get this life to get rid of Kevin Campbell.
It's like you said, he's like it's like one of those you're in a waste of an HOH position where it's like hey, nobody's gonna wanna do it because it's like I mean the only way is if somebody who's in between alliances doesn't want to like show their cards, doesn't want to like pick a side, so they like put up the middle people and get out Kevin because they use it as like if we want to get out floaters type of thing. I mean that's the only situation I can keep other than that like there's no way I want to waste my HOH. I'm gonna get off the big card.
Well, as always, Melissa, you are the audience. The audience agrees with Melissa on this one. They gave Kevin a
Kidding, I say as usual, even though I'm not like voting with the audience like most of the time.
I mean, you're closest. I think you're closest to the audience throughout this week, and I think that Christina all right, let's talk about Memphis.
This looks like being around.
Memphis, I gave him 5 last week. Yes. He won HOH. Acted like a douche. Like a little meanie. And I was like, alright, time to drop Memphis. And then things started
Memphis
to
wasn't
turn
even
up.
for me.
And I was like, what?
I still think he's a 4.
Why? Nobody talking about Memphis anymore. Why is everyone focusing on each other? How is Memphis all of a sudden in a position where Kaser and Janelle remain the big targets? He's not getting any heat for not targeting them anymore. Nobody's coming after Memphis. And all of a sudden, it's like, what happened? What happened is his style of play, which is like just self-control and not having to work for an alliance. He's forcing us to deal with this situation. No, they're not happy about it. But also, no, they can't do anything. And yeah, there's something a little bit interesting there. Now, I do think that still has it, because he wasn't this way. He was not this bad at the start of Big Brother 10. I remember, but he was this bad at the end of Big Brother 10 because Dan was like, oh yeah, do this. This is gonna be great. It's gonna be great TV. This is gonna be so good. And like
this one's here.
I really feel like Memphis
I might do
idolizes
one
Dan.
more.
I think he wants to be Dan, and he's trying to do it, but he does not have the Dan-ness in him. The personal side of it, the charisma that Dan does to pull it off. And so it's very bad. And I think that I don't know how you can win a jury over like
That's
that.
the thing. Yeah, like can you ever win a jury vote? I don't know.
That's the thing.